There are moments in music history when a single track transforms the very idea of what a pop song can be. For the Beatles, a band that had already redefined popular culture several times over, one composition stood out as a radical leap forward. Their trusted producer, George Martin, who had guided them since the beginning, recognized it instantly. He described the song as sheer brilliance, not only for its haunting beauty, but for the way it broke down barriers between rock, classical, and experimental sound. That song was Strawberry Fields Forever.
Let me take you down.
Written primarily by John Lennon and released in 1967, it became one of the Beatles' most ambitious and enduring works. More than just a single, it was a statement, proof that the group was no longer bound by the conventions of pop music. For George Martin, it was a masterclass in creativity, a recording that demonstrated just how far the studio itself could be stretched as an instrument. By the mid-1960s, the Beatles were in the midst of transformation. Their early days of singing simple love songs to screaming crowds were behind them. The touring had ended, the pressures of fame had shifted, and the band had retreated into Abbey Road studios with a new sense of purpose. They were no longer just performers. They were becoming full-fledged recording artists. George Martin, often called the fifth Beatle, was central to this evolution. With his background in classical and experimental music, he provided the technical expertise and creative encouragement the band needed to take risks. He didn't simply supervise sessions, he collaborated, helping to translate abstract ideas into groundbreaking soundscapes. For Martin, Strawberry Fields Forever was the clearest sign yet that the Beatles had entered a new artistic era. The origins of Strawberry Fields Forever can be traced back to John Lennon's childhood in Liverpool. The title referred to a Salvation Army children's home near his house, a place that stirred memories of innocence and escape. But the song Lennon envisioned was not nostalgic in the conventional sense. Instead, it was dreamlike, fragmented, and surreal, reflecting his state of mind in the turbulent years of fame and self-discovery. When Lennon first played the song for the group, it was little more than an acoustic sketch. Yet its potential was obvious. Paul McCartney, eager to match Lennon's creativity, saw it as a challenge. George Harrison added his distinct guitar textures, and Ringo Starr anchored the shifting rhythms. Together, they began to construct something unlike anything the Beatles had attempted before. The recording sessions for Strawberry Fields Forever were among the most complex in the band's career. Work began in late 1966 and stretched over several weeks. Lennon initially recorded the song in a slow, haunting tempo, but later insisted on a faster, more driving version. Rather than choose between them, George Martin made a daring decision. He would splice the two takes together. The challenge was enormous. The two versions were in different keys and tempos, but through careful manipulation of tape speed, Martin managed to align them. The result was seamless, giving the song an otherworldly shift midway through, as if listeners were being pulled deeper into Lennon's subconscious. For many, it was a revelation. For Martin, it was proof that technical ingenuity could serve the deepest artistic vision. Strawberry Fields Forever pushed the boundaries of 1960s recording technology. Martin and the engineering team layered Mellotron flutes, cellos, backward tapes, brass, and Indian-inspired instrumentation into the track. The density of the arrangement was unprecedented, creating a swirling, psychedelic atmosphere that perfectly matched Lennon's lyrics. The Beatles also experimented with overdubbing and tape effects. Lennon's vocals were double-tracked, distorted, and filtered to achieve a hypnotic tone, Orchestral musicians were brought in to provide depth, while tape loops created textures that seemed to bend time itself. Every second of the song was carefully sculpted, turning what began as a simple ballad into a sonic masterpiece. For John Lennon, Strawberry Fields Forever was intensely personal. He regarded it as one of his finest achievements, a window into his inner world. Paul McCartney, though working on his own masterpiece Penny Lane at the same time, admired Lennon's vision and the daring scope of the recording. George Harrison valued the experimental freedom the sessions allowed, even if his own contributions were limited. Ringo Starr, as always, provided steady drumming that grounded the swirling chaos around him. Despite occasional tension, the band recognized that they were creating something extraordinary. The song was difficult, demanding, and unlike anything else in their catalog. And yet, when the final mix was played back in Abbey Road, there was little doubt among them that they had achieved something historic. George Martin had overseen countless Beatles tracks, but Strawberry Fields Forever stood apart. He saw in it the culmination of everything they had been working toward, the marriage of pop accessibility with avant-garde daring. For Martin, the brilliance was not only in Lennon's haunting melody or the band's performance, but in the recording process itself. It was, he believed, a triumph of imagination over limitation. When he later referred to the track as sheer brilliance, it wasn't casual praise. It was recognition of a creative milestone. Martin understood that the song would be studied for decades to come, not only as a work of art, but as a technical achievement. It symbolized how far the Beatles and popular music had come in just a few short years. Released in February 1967 as a double A-side single with Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields Forever astonished audiences. While it didn't reach #1 in the UK charts, its impact was far greater than sales figures suggested. Listeners were bewildered, fascinated, and often deeply moved. Critics hailed it as a new frontier in rock music, and fellow musicians scrambled to keep pace with its innovations. In the decades since, the song has been hailed as one of the Beatles' crowning achievements. It appears on countless greatest songs lists, and scholars continue to analyze its structure and production. For fans, it remains a haunting reminder of Lennon's genius and the unparalleled partnership between the Beatles and George Martin.